We'll begin this Kumi session. So greetings, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be hosting again another Kumi action, a Kumi meeting, sorry, more specifically. And it's a pleasure to be with you all again. Perhaps before I start the meeting, let me go over some housekeeping rules. So this meeting is recorded. So if you wish to be anonymous or turn off your video, now is the time to do so. Please be sensitive in your comments and questions on the chat. And any questions that you have, please post them on the chat, and I'll try my best to ask them on your behalf to our speaker today. Today, in the Kumi calendar, we're marking the UN Human Rights Declaration on the 10th of December in 1948, which is also the date of the Nakba. We are all witnessing just unspeakable atrocities happening in Gaza and in the West Bank, but all Palestinians are being affected, and the situation all over is terrible. So today, what we will be doing, we will also be asking our Armenian friends to share and present some of the difficulties and some of the achievements they have been fighting for in the Armenian community in Jerusalem, who have been recently been on the news, but have had a long battle for years for their existence in Jerusalem and dealing with corruption and dealing also with racism and discrimination, and are part of the mosaic of Jerusalem, part of the mosaic of Palestinian Christians and of Jerusalem itself. And after, whilst we'll be speaking about that and have maybe half an hour of engagement with our speaker of today, with some Q&A time. The rest of the time we will have dedicated actions for the people in Gaza and advocacy for trying to achieve a ceasefire and an opening of a humanitarian corridor in Gaza. So the session today will be split into two. With that being said, I'd like to introduce our speaker for today, which I met for the first time in one of the committee meetings of the Palestinian Christian organizations in Jerusalem. And everybody in that meeting were very surprised by the achievements that he and his community have achieved against all odds, and also the age in which he spoke and the maturity which he spoke. And I think it was a good story of hope, but also continuous struggle and resilience. And I think it's important to highlight not only the suffering that happens within the various communities in Jerusalem, but also the continued resilience. And with that being said, I'd like to introduce Hagob Dernizian. I don't know if I'm pronouncing your family name correctly.
Hagob Dernizian.
So Hagob, maybe you can introduce yourself in a couple of sentences, and then you can start in explaining about the situation of your community in Jerusalem.
Yeah, so first of all, sorry for being very formal because we just finished the meeting with the Latin Patriarch regarding the Armenian quarter issue. First, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the Sabil, Samuel, Omar, and all the Sabil team for doing a wonderful job here in Jerusalem in keeping the unity between the Christian communities and the churches in Jerusalem and in Palestine. My name is Hagob Dernizian. I'm 23 years old. I'm the fourth generation of genocide survivors living in Jerusalem. I'm a student in the Hebrew University of Jerusalem for Middle East Studies and International Relations. This year is my last year, and I'm an active member of the Jerusalemite Armenian community and a co-founder of the Save the Ark movement, which is Save the Armenian Quarter movement. We, the youth, the young generation of the community, established especially for protecting the Armenian quarter, where today we go through existential threat. I'll give a short, brief explanation of what is happening today in the Armenian quarter. So the Armenian quarter of Jerusalem is one of the four quarters in the old city of Jerusalem. And we're lucky to have open spaces in the quarter. And one of our open and biggest space in the old city, which is called the Cow's Garden, and its historical name is the Armenian Gardens, is now targeted and is under great danger. 3 years ago, the Armenian Patriarchate of Jerusalem signed a usage agreement with the Jerusalem municipality, giving the approval to the municipality to clean and renovate the parking lot of the community. And in return, the Patriarchate will give 90 parking spaces to the residents of the Jewish quarter. It was a 10-year lease usage agreement. And then a year later, July 2021, the Armenian Patriarchate of Jerusalem signed another lease, leasing 11,500 square meters out of 90,000 square meters, which is the entire size of the Armenian Gardens property, to an Australian Jewish businessman. His name is Danny Rothman Rubinstein, leasing the 11,500 square meters for a 98-year lease in order to build a luxury hotel. At the beginning, when the deal was signed, we heard some rumors from the priests, from the Patriarchate, that only the parking lot is included. But just to make sure, the community was against this deal since the beginning. It is important to mention that the reason why the Patriarchate signed the deal was, according to their arguments, to have it's a commercial deal and to have a stable income to the Patriarchate. But the Armenian Patriarchate of Jerusalem is known of one of the rich patriarchates in Jerusalem and the owner of many properties and income properties in East and West Jerusalem and all over the Holy Land. Only a few months ago, with the community and also the Patriarch himself who signed the deal, and the deal which was prepared by now defrocked Father Baret Yeretzian, who was the real estate director of the Patriarchate when the deal was signed. We discovered out that not only the parking lot of the community is included, which is 7,000 square meters, but also houses of Armenian families, the private garden of the Patriarch, his backyard, the parking lot of the Patriarchate, and the events hall of the seminary, of the school for seminarians. And this entire area is 11,500 square meters. When the Patriarchate discovered that, and the Patriarch himself discovered that he signed a deal which is a catastrophic deal for the Armenians in Jerusalem and also for Christians, he decided to defrock the priest who was the mastermind behind the deal and to cancel the deal only a month ago. Why he decided to cancel the deal? Because the Armenian community of Jerusalem decided to protest and demonstrate against this deal. So since May 2023, we were demonstrating every week in the main courtyard of the convent under the window of the Patriarch, demanding from him to give us answers. What was leased? What is included? What is the reason of the deal? And also demanding from him to cancel the deal. So after immense pressure from the community and from different institutions and figures, the Patriarchate decided on the 26th of October of this year, a month ago, to cancel the deal. Since the cancellation of the deal, unfortunately, the other party, which is Zana Capital Limited, the name of the company, headed by Danny Rothman and an Arab Israeli Christian. His name is George Warwar. To start to provoke and intimidate the Jerusalemite Armenian community. For example, by bringing bulldozers to the property, harming the property, tearing down walls, harming community members, threatening them, bringing armed settlers to the land with dogs, and around 15 settlers who arrived in the Cow's Garden in the area on the 5th of November, who tried to threaten the community and the clergy also, who only in the past 1 month were standing with us, with the community, and joining forces in order to cancel the deal and protect the integrity of the Armenian quarter. And a week later, after the 5th of November, the company sent security guards with the police, the Israeli police, to come and take over the land. But the community and the patriarch himself and the clergy decided to stand in front of these people, to not let them in the property and to avoid any further incidents. So we succeeded to first demand from the patriarch to cancel the deal. Second, to defend the land with our own bodies. We are sleeping there. Today is the 4th week that we, the community, the young generation, is sleeping there in the cars, in tents, defending and guarding the area 24/7, as we say. On the other hand, we, the community, we hired local legal team. Also, we have a legal team in the US, which are the international lawyers that they work pro bono for this case. And the local team that they work with the international team, they represent the community in this case. They represent us in negotiations with the Patriarchate. So the Patriarchate will not only cooperate with us on the ground, but also will cooperate with us also on the legal front. So this is what we are trying to do in the past few weeks, to bring them also around the table of the legal proceedings. We as a community are fighting now for the existence, not only for Armenians, but also for Christians in Jerusalem. I guess many of you heard about the list of the hotels in Jaffa Gate, the Imperial Petra Hotel, and now the incidents in the Newgate, and now the lease of the land in the Armenian quarters. So these three areas, the Newgate, the Jaffa Gate, and the Armenian quarter are being targeted by settlers, by different developers who are trying to take over illegally lands. Even though the deal of the Cow's Garden was signed by the Armenian Patriarchate of Jerusalem, it was an illegal deal because it violated the constitution of the Armenian Patriarchate of Jerusalem. It was never discussed in the Holy Synod, in the executive body meeting of the church, in the General Assembly, and it never even discussed with the community and representatives of the community. It was done behind closed doors. It is a shady deal, and that's why we consider it as an illegal one. So due to this illegal deal and the threat that settlers will take over the Jaffa Gate hotels, today Christians face an imminent, an existential threat in Jerusalem. If these organizations will take over these parts in the old city, Christians and the churches will face existential danger. And that's why we, as the young generation of the Armenian community, is working with all Christian communities, with all churches, and with the international community to stop this deal, and to continue our pressure, media pressure, international pressure, in order to avoid any changes in the status quo of Jerusalem. So basically, these are the details about what is happening in the Armenian quarter. what is the threat, and what can we do in the future.
Thank you, Hagob. I invite everyone now to post questions on the chat if you have any. I would like to first ask you, what has been the role of the youth? Specifically, you mentioned the youth in being intense and in protesting. Who has been the leaders of it? Has it been mostly youth who has been leading these protests?
So the protests were organized only by the youth. We were calling upon the community to attend the protests every Friday since May 2023. The last protest took place beginning of September. Then we had some difficulties and the war, and then the cancellation of the patriarchate. So we decided to stop the protests, but the youth is leading the movement.
Perhaps maybe you can you comment, you're speaking about the settlements, the discrimination, the violence that has been affecting your community, the erosion, of Christians in Jerusalem in general. Can you speak a bit more about the importance of unity between the different communities in Jerusalem and the West Bank, now with what is going in Gaza, how important it is to stand together and to be in solidarity with one another with such immense evil that is happening in our country?
So the Armenian community of Jerusalem, we have many institutions, organizations, clubs, political parties, and we do cooperate during the year, but we never cooperated as we are doing now. And it is important that also not only Armenians within the Armenian community of Jerusalem will cooperate, but also Christians in Jerusalem and all over the Holy Land, the West Bank will cooperate, because we are less than 10,000 Christians in Jerusalem and less than 4,000 Christians in the old city of Jerusalem. And if each church or community will work alone without cooperation with the other communities, then we will not reach to what we dream, which is the protecting and preserving the Christian identity of Jerusalem. I, since childhood, asked or worked for cooperation within the Christian communities, and we as a community, we succeeded to do that. We have good relations with all the communities, the Christian communities in Jerusalem, where only 2 weeks ago, the Christian communities, without asking, without even, without asking, they showed their support by publishing a joint statement supporting the Armenian community of Jerusalem in our just fight. So it is important that if we want to keep what belongs to us in the old city in Jerusalem, for Christians, then we have to cooperate together and not stay separated. Because in unity, when we stand united, we stand, and separated, we fall. So we have to stand together and united in order to avoid these illegal, corrupt deals and attacks on Christians.
100%. There's a question saying, why was the deal made in the first place?
So as I mentioned in my explanation, that according to the arguments of the patriarchate, they decided to sign the deal in order to have a stable income to the patriarchate. This is the argument of the patriarchate, but unfortunately, this is not a commercial deal. This is absolutely a deal which is targeting the institutions and the Armenian presence in Jerusalem. You can't sign a commercial deal while including houses of Armenian families, including the parking of the patriarch, including the garden of the patriarch, and including your own school. So it's not a commercial deal. It is a deal targeting the Armenian and Christian presence.
Thank you. I'll ask you now two questions, and then you can respond to them. So the first question is the current Armenian patriarch the same that signed the illegal deals? And the second question is which other local Jerusalem or other national churches are supporting you in your protest?
Okay, so yes, it is the same patriarch who signed the deal. The current patriarch is Archbishop Nurhan Manudyan, who signed the deal. And Archbishop Nurhan, according to all the facts that we have and conversations, he was deceived by the real estate director of the patriarchate. I know that many of you will ask, he's a patriarch and he should read each paper and each letter in the contract. I agree with all those who think this way. Unfortunately, he was deceived, and unfortunately, by being deceived, we are now living in a catastrophe. We as a community, we are working now with the patriarch in order to cancel fully the deal, because he signed the deal and he's the only one who can cancel the deal, and he's the only witness and the person who can go to court and stand in front of the judge and explain what was happened, what was presented to him, and what was the deal from the beginning. We will not repeat the mistake done by the Greek Orthodox Patriarchate back in 2006, taking down the patriarch and replacing with a new patriarch, and then going to court, losing the court, and doing these mistakes. We need our current patriarch in order to work with him, in order to strengthen first the relations with him, so we can fully cancel the deal and not opening now different struggles in our small and weak community. Second question, international and local support. We continue to receive every day support from many churches and institutions. For example, Sabil, local Christian scouts, clubs, heads of churches, missions in different countries. For example, Foreign Affairs Ministry of Russia and France, they supported and they expressed their solidarity with the Armenian people in Jerusalem in their fight. So yes, we do receive support, and I would like to mention that today we had a meeting, and a very successful meeting, with the Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem, where we presented a letter addressed to Pope Francis, imploring him to use his power first to stand with the Christians in Jerusalem, protecting the properties of Armenians, Jaffa Gate and the New Gate. So yes, we are working on all different stages.
That's very good news. Hopefully it does reach Pope Francis. Perhaps I'll try and consolidate all the questions in the chat. So can you just emphasize how devastating it will be for the Armenian community, for the Christian community in Jerusalem, for all Palestinians in general, if the deal goes through? That's the first one. The second one is, what has been your contact and what has been your communication with Armenians around the world, specifically in the US? And then lastly is, what can we do to help and support you and the Armenian youth in the protests with regarding this deal?
Okay, so many people, I mean, unfortunately, since 1967, there is a generation in not only in our community, but all communities in Jerusalem, that they say, I mean, if you lose something, then it's over, then it's gone. I'm not part of that generation that they think that if we lose something, or if we are on the way to lose something in Jerusalem, then we cannot fight back and bring it back. I'm from the generation that believe that we can bring back and we can fight for our existence and for our presence in Jerusalem, because The fights that Christians are doing and in Jerusalem is a just fight, the Armenian quarter and Jaffa Gate, because at the end, the people who are who live here for centuries, they protected these places. And for example, I can speak on behalf of the Armenian community that Armenians donated money for years, for centuries, to the Armenian Patriarchate of Jerusalem. So the Armenian Patriarchate will be able to buy these properties, to develop the properties, and not to sell or lease them, because these properties were bought by the money donated by the Armenian nation. So if we will not be able to bring back the land, or we will not be able to win this just struggle, then it will have very big and very negative consequences on the Christian community of Jerusalem, because this land, which it's called the Armenian Garden, connects the Armenian and Christian quarters. Behind this land is the Jaffa Gate and the Imperial and Petra hotels. Then if we lose first Jaffa Gate, then the Armenian quarter, so the Armenian and Christian quarters will not be connected to each other, and the territorial integrity of two quarters will get harmed. So this is first thing. Second thing is that many will start to immigrate, first outside of the old city to different neighborhoods in East Jerusalem. Then they will immigrate from East Jerusalem to different countries. And by immigrating, the number of Christians in Jerusalem will increase. And this is not what we dream of. We want the opposite, that we will have here a successful, vibrant community, Christian community in Jerusalem, where we protect our rights. Also, if we speak about the holy places, the meaning of losing the connection of Armenian and Christian quarters will put in danger the roads leading to the Holy Sepulchre. For example, the Armenian Patriarchate Road and the entrance to the old city through Jaffa Gate are the main roads leading Christian pilgrims to the Holy Sepulchre. By losing these two roads, the access of Christian pilgrims to the Holy Sepulchre, to the old city, will be very dangerous. Second question is receiving support and the connection with Armenians around the world and the US. We are in touch with Armenian communities around the world. The Armenian media is supporting us. Institutions are supporting us. We have a big community in the US where we call upon them, and we continue to cooperate with them and to call upon them that they will pressure the US government and all the influential bodies around the world, that they can pressure first the Israeli government and Israeli authorities, and also the Patriarchate, to fully cooperate in order to cancel fully this deal. Just someone remind me the third question.
How can we support you? What action can we take? We have here all the community, Kumi community, the attendees are from all around the world. What can we do with our power to support you? Is there an organization? Is there something we can do within our power?
So, as I mentioned in the beginning, we established the Save the Ark movement, which is Save the Armenian Quarter movement. This is a movement created by us, the young generation of the community, and it has one purpose: to protect the integrity of the Armenian Quarter and the Christian Quarter. So I will appreciate, and all of us will appreciate, if first you can be in touch with us, with the movement, and you can connect us with, for example, different institutions and authorities that you think may help us in this struggle. This is first thing. Second thing, I don't like to speak about donations, but it is necessary. We opened the link. We have a fund where we collect funds to pay for legal proceedings and pay for the local lawyers, so people can donate there. we collect the money there to pay the legal proceedings. But most importantly is that we need to establish connections and relations with different communities around the world, or institutions and governments who can help us and pressure and advocate for on the international level to fully cancel the deal, and not only canceling the deal, but also to demand protection for Christians in Jerusalem. So these are, from my side, the way you can help us. And we are on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, now X. And you can also be in touch with me privately or through our pages, and we will answer as soon as possible.
I was just going to ask Harob if you would like, you could put the email or the website on the chat, or alternatively, I can put my email and then people can email me requesting to be in contact with you through me, and then I can forward them to you.
Yeah,
Whatever you
it
prefer.
can work. Yeah, as you mentioned, Samuel.
Okay, so I'll just put my email very quickly. If anybody wants to get in touch with Hagob and the Save the Ark movement, please email me and I'll forward all information to Save the Ark movement. I guess before we move to the Kumi actions, which will be dedicated for Gaza and for the efforts of trying to get a ceasefire, there's a few, I guess, lessons and inspirations that you and Save the Ark movement have given. And I think one, as we are witnessing churches being destroyed, the Christian community in Gaza under existential threat, it is important to fight in solidarity with all those who are under existential threat, whether in the West Bank, in the old city of Jerusalem, or in Gaza. Second is the power that you actually have. You challenge the corruption, the leadership, and you've done it effectively. And I think there's an important lessons to be learned from the small victories that you have if within the movement of justice in general around the world. And I think lastly, it's to show really the depth of how Zionism and the policies that settlers are in charge of are actually affecting so many people on so many different levels. And it's important to stand in unity and solidarity. So Hagob, I'd like to really thank you for all the work that you and your movement are doing. And I know it's raining right now in Jerusalem, so I hope the staying in tents and the weather gets better for you guys, and you don't get so much harassment by settlers and police and by corrupt people. So I really want to thank you for all the efforts that you do, and wish you I don't want to wish you the best. I want to be in solidarity with you. So I really appreciate you coming and taking time to speak with us today. Yeah, so thank you so much, Hagob, and I'm sure we'll be forwarding you emails to Save the Ark movement.
Thank you very much, Samuel and Sabil, for your support in the past few months. I can say that you are the only organization that you continue to follow up every day closely, support us, come and visit us, and establish for us relations with different people and institutions. It is much, much appreciated. Under the rain, the snow, the wind, the cold or hot weathers, we continue our fight, our struggle to protect the land, to protect our presence, and to ensure that the next generations of Christian communities will be able to live peacefully in Jerusalem. So at least those who are working for this will be able to sleep good at night, knowing that they did their best for the future generations and for our presence. Thank you very much. And thank you all for listening to me. And I'm very sorry that I will not be able to continue with you because I'm running now back to the Armenian Gardens land where I have to continue the work. So thank you very, very much. And
Thank you,
also,
Hagub.
we pray that ceasefire and in Gaza and peace will be established very soon in the region. We much need it, and we pray that it will happen. And we pray also that ceasefire will be done soon and immediately. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hagub. With that being said, we can now turn towards our Kumi actions of this week that are trying to pressure and work towards a ceasefire. So we've divided our Kumi actions into three, and perhaps Philippa, if you could lead the first Kumi action for the UK, that would be great.
Okay, hi everyone. So I'll be covering the UK action for this week. So the action is to file a complaint about Lindsay Hoyle. So Lindsay Hoyle is the Speaker of the UK House of Commons, and this is supposed to be an impartial role, meaning that he's not supposed to show any allegiances to any particular parties or particular political persuasions. So recently, I think it was last week, he went to Israel and made several comments and was had several photos taken in kibbutzes and other places, and basically showed a lot of bias towards the Zionist state of Israel. So the action is to make a complaint to both the Standards Commissioner and directly to the Speaker's office. So if you scroll up to the top of the chat, Beth and Neil has placed the Speaker's office email. So it is speakersoffice@parliament.uk, and the Standards Commissioner is his email is at standardscommissioner@parliament.uk, and essentially just detail the lack of neutrality and how inappropriate it is for him to be showing allegiances to any state. So that's the UK action. Thank you.
Thank you, Philippa. Perhaps now we will go and I'll ask Mary Claire to speak about the North American action, and then after that we will dedicate time for implementing those two actions. So may I invite Mary Claire to present the North American action?
So if you've been with us regularly, you'll know that we've been trying to pressure all of our politicians to call for an immediate ceasefire. So our action again this week is continuing with that push. We're asking you to look up the fax number of your representative, or if you don't want to engage with your representative, you could also contact a church leader or a community leader. And we're asking you to send a fax of one of the Kumi flyers that's calling for a ceasefire. And I think that link should be in the chat. We have PDF images that you can attach. You can send faxes for free through this link called faxzero.com to both the US and Canada. If you're contacting someone who does not have a fax number, you can also send them the Kumi poster calling for a ceasefire by email. Here is a link to the fax. I'm putting that in here now. And I noticed that Ryan's put in the Kumi call for a ceasefire, our flyers in the chat already. So if you're in the US or Canada, this is what we're calling for today.
Thank you, Mary Claire. So again, any of the links, any of the PDFs or the flyers or the email addresses are in the chat, and if you can't find them, you can scroll. And if you can't find them on the chat, you can also see them on the Kumi newsletter that was sent earlier this week. Perhaps now maybe we can take 10 to 15 minutes to give dedicated time for those two actions. And then I will close the meeting. I guess we can close soon the meeting. Perhaps just before we finish the meeting, if you haven't completed the Kumi actions, please look at the Kumi newsletter, and it will be over there with all the instructions and contacts as well. Also, if you can, please post the flyers on your social media, on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. If you want to get in touch with Hagob and the Save the Ark movement, I'll put my email again on the chat, but send me an email and then I can forward it to Hagob. And I think that's it. Let's continue working for a ceasefire, continue putting pressure, doing the activism both in our context and internationally. The situation is getting worse and worse, and right now it's raining and it's cold, so I can't imagine what it's going for the people in Gaza who are displaced and are crowded. Diseases are going around, and every minute that goes by, more people are getting killed, and the situation is really getting worse. But we do see international pressure. We do see the effects of international pressure. So please continue with your pressure, continue with your activism. And yes, and then next week will be our last Kumi session of 2023. And we will take a break for Christmas. So stay tuned to our newsletters, our emails. If you have any questions, you can send them to me by email. And I hope to see you all next week. And for those who are attending Thursday service this week as well. With that being said, have a continued rest of the day full of solidarity, sumud, resilience, and resistance. So hope to see you next week, everyone. Bye-bye. Thank you, Philippa and Mary Claire and Ryan.